Ladies, gents, and the wonderful people of Floral Park Memorial, welcome to episode 4 of Shane Sports of New York. I am your host, Shane Palma, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different than the previous ones. It's going to be a little bit shorter. I actually had the opportunity recently to sit down with barstool blogger and employee, the Vape God himself, Tom Scibelli. Tom is a former student of Floral Park Memorial High School, and we had a little bit of time to catch up with each other. We got to talk about some of the stuff that he's doing now, how he chose Fordham, which is where he attended college, how he ended up at Barstool Sports, and a bunch of other awesome stuff. I hope you guys enjoy the episode today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for future stuff. What were your career aspirations as soon as you graduated from Floral Park?
I wasn't really sure. I knew I was going to Fordham, obviously, but I didn't know totally what I wanted to do. I went into school undeclared, just hoping that I'd find something that I was interested in. That ended up being I joined the radio station there. I knew that Fordham had some good alums like Michael K, Vince Scully, but I didn't know they have this whole radio program. It's called WFUV. It's like a legit radio station. They have 90.7 FM in New York and some other places. And I remember it was the club fair, probably my second or third day of college, and I signed up for the sports department, and got mentored by Bob Aarons, who's a important person, became a legend sort of in the sports broadcasting industry, and I just really fell in love with the sports broadcasting aspect of it, and I knew that I wanted to do something in that media type realm.
Was Fordham always your number one choice, or were you looking at other options? I know you said you went in undeclared, but what were you looking for in school?
No, I wasn't sure. I applied to a bunch of schools, probably maybe a dozen schools, and it came down to Fordham, Georgetown, and NYU, both all three pretty super different schools. And I was actually just telling a friend about this, but it was it came down to Fordham or Georgetown. It was the deadline is April 30th, and I remember being in my basement that night, as midnight was approaching, being I had no idea if I want to go to Fordham or Georgetown, and I flipped the coin. Not that I was going to take whatever the coin said for real, but I just wanted to see how I would feel when the coin was in the air and what I wanted to land on. And I remember it landed under my couch. I still don't even know what it ended up landing on. I just went upstairs and I was I want to go to Fordham, because I just sort of knew in that moment that that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, no, Fordham was not my number one. It ended up being my number one, but it took a while to get there.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it worked out in your favor there.
Yeah, I definitely made the right choice. I'm very grateful.
So, since you went in undeclared, obviously you didn't really have a path until you joined the club at the club fair. But as a new reporter and journalist out of high school, what immediate challenges did you face in your field?
You mean early in college?
Yeah, if you had to interview someone, or if you had to talk on the radio about something, right away.
Yeah, it was different, because I'd never really, I'd written for The Shield, which you're doing, but I'd never done anything on air, on radio and stuff. And Fordham, WFUV gives a unique experience where we're able to be legitimate credentialed reporters in the locker room. So I got to cover the Yankees, the Giants, the Knicks, the Rangers, and the Devils, and the Staten Island Yankees, all in the locker room, with the rest of the reporters and ESPN, New York Post, and everything. And it was weird for sure, because you have all these people that are adults who are 40 or 60, 70 in some cases, and you're 19, 20-year-old kid. Sometimes they're looking at you oh, what's this guy doing here? Where does he belong here? But no, it was a weird adjustment, but I wouldn't trade those experiences at all. You sort of learned on the job and realized what it meant to be a professional in those situations.
Yeah, that's awesome. All those different experiences. Is there one that like stood out to you, like the moment you were like, I really like doing this?
At Fordham, I would say, covering the Yankees was the coolest thing I ever got to do at Fordham. I was a beat reporter for them for the 2017 season when they had a nice playoff run too, and it was like Aaron Judge's first year, Luis Severino was becoming a star. It was just like a really fun season to cover because they were kind of unexpectedly good. And I got to go to like 55 games. You know, I'd get there early, be on the field for batting practice, I'd go eat a ton of food, I'd sit in the press box, and then, you know, watch the game and go down to the locker room. So I would say of all the experience I've had at Fordham, that was probably the coolest.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, honestly. But, you know, I obviously you ended up at Barstool, and I looked at your whole day in the life and your whole blog about when you first started working there. But if you didn't end up there and you didn't see that tweet, where do you think you would be right now?
I'm not sure. I'd probably be in a place where I'm not as happy and having as much fun. I don't know. I probably would have gone the traditional route, and I mean, it's in the traditional sports media field. It's super tough to get a good job out of college. So you got to go probably do like minor league baseball in Iowa, or you got to call like Division III hoops for a while. So I definitely want to be doing something as much as I like Barstool. So I'm glad. I mean, I kind of always knew, as much as I did enjoy covering the Yankees, covering the Giants, and doing all that, I also knew I didn't totally want to go the traditional journalist route.
Mm-hmm.
When something that interested me, I've always liked things that are sort of more creative. So that's why, you know, Barstool ended up being a good fit.
So, you know, Barstool's obviously, like, it seems like a fun environment to be in. Obviously, you said it yourself. So, like, what's like a typical day that you go through at their offices?
I mean, there is no typical day, really. Every day kind of changes. The fall has been super busy because we have a bunch of different, like, football and gambling-centric shows. But, I mean, a typical day, I would say, it depends on the day of the week because of the schedule. But in the morning, maybe do a podcast and then record a show, either in studio, like either in office, or we'll go to a studio to record the show. We do those in the morning, get back in the afternoon. You have a little bit where not too much is going on. You could write a blog maybe or something, do some social media stuff. Then later in the afternoon, I do the rundown. I like help produce that kind of. And then I do the Sirius radio show from 4 to 6 every day. So it's a jam-packed day.
Yeah.
Jam-packed day every day.
Sounds like it.
Sort of depends on what you're doing.
Did you, like, advocate to write for the smoke shows on your blog, or did that just, like, fall into your lap?
No, that was actually my, like, first duty ever. So that was, fall of 2016. I was a junior in college. I went for the internship. I got it, and the first day I got in, Gaz, Paul, who was my boss at the time, was like, look, these are 2 things you're going to do. You're going to run the Smoke Shows page, and you're going to, there's an Instagram account called Barstool Lifestyle, which was like posting pictures of fans wearing merchandise and stuff. But no, that was given to me.
Yeah. So, like, obviously you've had a ton of great experiences with Barstool so far, but what can you say was, like, your favorite moment?
I would say the whole March Madness experience. From that was sort of what started, like, my rise or whatever. You know, up until that point, I was an intern and that didn't contribute a ton to content stuff. Sort of stayed behind the scenes, stayed quiet. But which is why I'm thankful to Fordham, is because the fact that I did have all those experiences at Fordham, getting to do play-by-play and stuff, sort of opened their eyes and impressed Dave Portnoy, the founder, was impressed with, like, the play-by-play stuff I did. So I ended up doing play-by-play with him for the March Madness games. We called a bunch of them. We just sit in the office. We have like 6 TVs, and we'd call him. He was sweating his bets. I was calling the games. He was doing like color, and it was just a super fun experience. And I ended up being like his good luck charm, which led to a Las Vegas trip, which led to going to the Final Four in San Antonio, and that was it was like it was all in a 2.5 week span. Like basically changed my life really, and so I'll always sort of look back at those crazy 2.5 weeks.
That sounds like, honestly, like the perfect 2 weeks to me, doing all that stuff right there.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone much better.
So, obviously, you've met a lot of people so far in your life, and some of these people have helped you. As a journalist, how important is it to make all these connections?
It's important. I mean, I didn't totally have, like, since I ended up at Barstool, like, the connection stuff, I didn't totally, like, I applied for Barstool on my own. Like, I was a stoolie, I was a fan of the website, I saw the thing, I applied, and I got it. So I didn't really use any connections to get to Barstool, but I know for the people who stuck in the more traditional media field, connections are super important. People you meet along the way that come in for, a workshop and give you advice, or, your internships and stuff. Connections are definitely important. My path was a little bit different, but I know for a lot of my friends and stuff from college, connections, you meet someone one time and, a couple years later it can end up meaning a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Floral Park Memorial didn't teach you all these cool jewel tricks, but how do you think they prepared you for your future career here?
Yeah, I mean, FPM was great. It's a great school. I liked it a lot. It was just a great education. I mean, a lot of good teachers there, good environment and everything. And like I said, there's not a ton, like you said, they didn't teach me how to do jewel tricks or post smoke shows on Instagram or anything like that. But it definitely helped writing for the Shield and stuff like that. It was a great experience, and I like to think I'm not here today without the help that FPM and all my teachers gave me along the way.
Obviously, you love Barstool, you love working there, but do you see yourself there in 10 years?
Yeah, I love working here. Barstool 10 years from now, who knows what it'll be exactly, but I know I want to be part of it.
And just like a final thing here, what message would you leave to the current FPM seniors who are graduating this year?
I would say to not stress out about like where you're going to end up in college. I mean, I did, so I wouldn't have taken my own advice, but enjoy your senior year. You'll make a lot of memories, senioritis or whatever, it kind of gets overblown. Like, you'll be fine. You'll get into a school and be all right. And then just, enjoy it. Don't stress if it's your freshman year of college, your sophomore year of college, and you don't totally know what you want to do, because one day you'll find out what your niche is and you'll follow that. And I know, especially in November of my senior year of high school, I definitely didn't know what I wanted to do, so you guys got a long way ahead of you. So I'd say just enjoy it for now, and worry about all that other stuff when the time comes.
Definitely. Well, Tom, again, thank you so much for this phone call. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.